So hi guys, so we're here with my cousin Karla and we're in her lovely trailer where she is filming How to Get Away with Murder. I was writing down these like different questions I wanted to ask you.
It's not even fair, he didn't even write the questions, my sister did. This is great. It's gonna be an intervention.
So when we were little, you were training, 6 days a week for gymnastics?
Yeah.
How many hours?
8 hours a day. No, 4 or 5 hours a day for 6 days a week for 8 years of my life.
Yeah. How do you feel about, how does it feel that you trained for so many years to go to the Olympics and then you never did it and you never actually professionally did gymnastics?
Yeah, it's a little sort of sad, and at the same time this thing of I always feel like I could do so many things in my life and there's so little time. And then also it reminds me of my years as a gymnast, and then, I posted a video of me doing gymnastics and stuff. And it's sort of sad, but at the same time, it's that's so great that I did it at least for that amount of time, and I'm doing something great with my life now, so it's not that bad, but yeah.
We share a similar, or the same faith in Christ. Was there a time in your life, and I know it's very important in your life right now, your faith and your relationship with God.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time when it wasn't so important.
Yeah.
Did you ever question the existence of God, or did you?
Yeah. Something happened in my life where I was really angry at God, and I decided that, everything he told me not to do, I would do.
And how did that turn out?
Well, I almost died. So that was that. So not good at all, actually. And then I've also had a very big misconception of who God was and what his love for me actually looked like and felt like, in terms that that could be palpable in my life and not just this idea
of God and rules.
God, yeah. So people, everything from pastors and Hillsong, and my pastor now Rankin, who holds a newspaper in one hand and the Bible in the other, and he makes it so real and so sort of relevant. Also the teachings of grace rather than earning your salvation kind of also had changed my perspective on a lot of things. Also, I would think that God didn't want me to be an actress because my church would be God doesn't want you to be an actress. And I think now, thanks to me being in LA and going to a church here, it's wow, Jesus was the best storyteller there ever was. He used story, and God is the creator. I create things, with the soul of human, it's just the most amazing thing for me to see actually that what I do for me is sacred in that sense. Storytelling is sacred. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a sad question, but your dad passed away a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
How did you deal with that? Because I could barely deal with it, and he wasn't my dad, so.
Yeah, I just faced it straight on. And also I got back into work straight away. That helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. And then through my work, I've healed it. What I do is amazing because of us being able to I can tap into that emotion very quickly, and also God sort of, he finished his purpose in life and he was ready to go. And it's hard to, have seen a man that I thought was going to leave in a very, majestic way, and cancer isn't majestic. It's humiliating, and especially for a man like my father, and so it was kind of the most humbling thing to see that no matter how much you think cancer isn't it just doesn't
it doesn't discriminate. It takes everyone. Yeah, it's awful. And quick.
Yeah, and it was kind of who do you think you are to not think that it's going to happen to you and stuff like that.
Feel bad that he's not here to see all your success, and he's not at any other premieres of the movies.
Yeah, more about.
Do you talk to him?
More about his advice. It's kind of I just sometimes sit down and I'm okay, well, what do I think he would be telling me about this? And unfortunately, it kind of takes me a longer time than what it would have been with him. He would have faced me and been hey, should we go on a walk? And let me tell you, I don't think what you're doing is right or whatever, and I'd be but then I'd be he's so right.
He's right, yeah.
And so I feel nowadays he'd probably tell me he'd probably call me out on doing things for reasons that aren't because of my passion, you know, or the way maybe sometimes I've dealt with social media.
It's okay. So, I mean, we still live in a world where women, especially Mexicans, and society, we were just talking about this in the car, women get criticized for working. Or get, you know, put down. So, like, how do you feel about, you know, do you want to stop working when you have kids?
No.
I mean, you're married and you haven't stopped working, thank God, and you obviously don't want to slow down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
Do you think women have to stop working?
I mean, obviously don't.
How do you feel about this?
No, it's absolutely infuriating to me to see if a woman wants to stop working, there's nothing wrong with that. But for a man to tell her that, you know, he feels like, you know, it's enough with him working, it's like, it's not only an economic, financial thing, it's like a purpose thing. It's like a lot of things. If a woman is happy, like my sister, she loves not working and taking care of the kids, and like that's her job, and it's a full-time job, and it's amazing. But I can't stand how sometimes in Latin culture you have men that are still very like machista and still feel that like, you know, like they want to pretty much be in control, and they are terrified of women's potential.
I've been with you many times when you've been asked, you know, now that you're married, like when are you having kids, like when are you going to start a family, blah, blah, blah. Does that question bother you?
Yeah, because I don't see them asking men that are actors when they're going to start having kids. So I think it's some burden that they put on women, and that it's none of their business.
Karla, so our interview was interrupted. Why?
Because I have to go film.
What are we filming? I mean, you can't say what, but what show is this? Who are you?
How to Get Away with Murder, Laurel Castillo.
That's hot. Okay, so we're back from filming a little. I have my shoes on. Okay, so this is really funny. I remember it was like 2000, I don't know, 3 or 4, and we were on a cruise in Hawaii, and you had just chopped all your hair off, pixie haircut, and it was the talent show. And my brother and my uncle and you went up and did the craziest shit on stage. It was a family cruise, Hawaiian. And you went up and did a crazy ass monologue. Do you remember this? The poem. It was called?
The No More Apologizing, The No More Little Laughing Blues by Lynn Lifshin.
Do you still remember it?
A little bit.
Can you say something? I remember there was a part where you're like, Grandma, I'm gonna get up on stage and I'm gonna say a few dirty words.
Yeah, it was a little dirty.
It was intense.
It's just about a woman that is tired about
Ooh, it's kind of a word just talking
apologizing about not having babies, apologizing about her hair, apologizing.
She's sick of apologizing.
Yeah. And so she talks about how like her writing has like allowed her to grow and like to like basically burst the walls of like her prison house and stuff like that. It's a beautiful poem.
So it was awesome.
It's a very feminist
You
poem.
nailed it, but
it was a little intense for that.
For like, why did you have it memorized?
Why did I have it memorized? I think probably I
for castings or something.
In Central School, speech and drama school I went to, they probably had us like an exam was probably like one of the poems, or they gave me that poem to learn basically.
But another one of my memories of you is that you used to cut up my grandma's cigarettes, and you would make like these big scenes about like your mom and my dad and like my grandma smoking, and then you started smoking.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it was like
why did you start smoking? To be cool?
No, why did I mean, yeah, to be cool, like you saw it in the movies, like, you know, in the movies, like when people smoked, it was like, wow, you know, it looked amazing, and like having grown up and like my parents smoking all the time, and it was a weird thing that I had of like, you know, having them not, but it's the same thing as like when you're a kid and you see your parents kiss and you're like, don't kiss! Like you get this like, this thing that you're like, I want to, it's a weird feeling that I don't know what it is. It's the same thing, but it wasn't about the smoking. It was like me wanting to control.
How do you feel about being 31 in a world where 31 is old?
I've not even thought about it. Is it old? I don't think it's old.
For actors, and I mean, I don't think it's old. Clearly, I feel like I'm 18 or whatever. But like, do you feel
I'm playing like a 23-year-old law student. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you scared of aging in the acting world?
No, I'm excited about it actually because there are so many meaty roles. There are more and more meaty roles of like women that are older and that like, you know, I mean, I just watched Florence.
I'm dying to watch it, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, what a great, you know, role. There's so many parts.
She's insane. She's just...
Yeah.
So you live a really weird life right now where when we're in Mexico City, you get mobbed by people. You're extremely famous. Like, we get some crazy stuff happen. And when you're in the States, it's like chill. Especially you live in LA, everybody's used to famous people. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with it in Mexico? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's actually not that bad because I don't live there. So a lot of my friends that live there and like have similar things, it's obviously a lot harder for them. But seeing as I just go in spurts of time, it's actually great to see how I see actors and actresses have their moments of fame all the time, and then suddenly like everyone's like, whatever happened to so and so? Like they're like, you know, forgotten, or you know, they almost think that like they're not happy because they're not famous. And I've heard of people that are maybe happier
when they're not
famous, you know? And so it's this thing of like, it's so distorted how people think that fame equals, you know,
happiness,
contentment, and happiness.
Karla, are we done? Did you wrap?
I did.
Can we continue my interview?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so we're back. So this question wasn't planned, but you were just crying in a scene like 2 seconds ago. How the hell do you do that? And now you're laughing. Like, that was intense.
My job is to be able to connect to emotions, all emotions, happiness, grief, shame, guilt.
Do you go back to memories?
And so, maybe sometimes I started off with that and then I use what the character is supposed to be. Like, my imagination is strong enough, I guess, sometimes. Sometimes it's not. But this time it's really just connecting with the other person and feeling like the shame that I needed to be feeling in that, and the guilt, and like I can tap into that because I've felt that in my life. So, and almost like I prefer to kind of be free the moments before and not be thinking about it, and that way like I trick my mind into not worrying about it, so then I kind of just can like go there.
Nice. So, okay, I want to ask you some more, like, work questions. Mm-hmm. What, right now with the whole Donald Trump and the stuff he says about Latinos and Mexicans, you're proud to be Mexican. Mm-hmm. Do you think that there is racism against Mexicans in Hollywood, in the acting world?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah. I mean, that's like...
Like, there's no rules
that's
for...
Like, there's so... That's, like, so obvious. I mean, what... First of all, like, has a Latino ever won an Oscar that isn't, like, the director that you've seen, but, like, as an actor?
Like an actor? No.
An actress? No.
No.
Like, have you... You know, there's so many people that write to me on Twitter saying how Laurel is someone that they love because she doesn't, like, fit the stereotype of what Latinas normally fit, you know? And that they spent all their, like, I never saw myself represented on TV when I was younger. I felt like Latinos, you know, if we're not in the mafia and like crossing the border illegally or in a drug cartel, then we're like not Latin.
I know that people tell me stuff like that all the time. Like, well, you're white, like you're not Mexican. Like you have green eyes, but it's like I am Mexican. There's other Mexicans that are not just. Yeah,
it's just a lack of sort of, you know, awareness really, but yeah, there's a lot of that going on without it being malicious. It's not malicious. It's just not. They don't realize, but they do segregate, and they do sort of like they're not represented the way they should be. You know, maybe not enough as well.
Do you have more projects other than as an actress? So direct, produce. Right.
Yeah, I'm producing Everybody Loves Somebody that's coming out in February. That's a movie about a strong, empowered, successful Latina that, you know, goes to and from the border to like vacation, but it isn't about the border or her race or where she comes from, and she's a gynecologist, and it's more about, it's like a very heartfelt sort of dramedy.
Do you act as well? Or
yeah, I'm the lead actress.
Is it in English or in Spanish?
It's in English and Spanish.
Nice.
Seamlessly, just the way you and me speak like that. So it's for that sort of second, third generation. That's coming out in February, and then I'm also looking into producing films and writing and developing new projects. And I also have a theater company called Ammunition Theater, where I recently just did a reading with a Latin playwright voicing, again, just another voice of a Latino within the community that I want to use my theater company for that, and we're all very excited about sort of promoting different points of view with diversity and with minorities and all of that in art.
Thank you for having me, and I loved being here and everything. So I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to be able to share all this success with you and see you grow. And I'm excited to see a lot more. And I hope to interview you a million more times.
Yeah, I know. You're great, actually. You're really good.
Thank you.
I'm surprised.
Thank you.
You're a natural.
Te amo.
Yo también, Davicho.
Peace out.